Kev Carmody's 2007 tribute, Cannot Buy My Soul, has been updated with new tracks from Courtney Barnett, Casey Chambers, Jimmy Barnes and a whole lot of others. I'm Paul Cashmere and I caught up with Kev to talk about his songs, his life and the crazy, fucked up world where racism still exists.
Kev Carmody, welcome to Noise11.com. It's a pleasure to talk to you. 14 years after Cannot Buy My Soul first came out, I woke up this morning, I was thinking of when this album first came out. If I was 14 when this album first came out, I'm probably married with kids now. There would be people that were born on the day this record came out that are getting towards the end of their schooling. It's incredible that we've had 14 years from the first edition to the second edition, yet in a lot of ways, not a lot has changed.
14 years between now and when Paul, I had nothing to do with the first one either. Paulie Kelly did it. And this one, it's Paul's partner, Sean Darling. She's the one that's doing this, but she's actually getting the younger ones to do videos to it. Now, I purposely said, because I was an old fella, but by the time I recorded, I was over 40. I purposely didn't do videos, Paul, because I thought, you know, all the glitz and glamour and what was going on at that time, you know, all the way you had to do videos and stuff. I thought, bugger that, I'm not doing that. You know, the song's got to stand by itself. But now it's a different thing. The younger ones, they're right into videos. So I still don't have to do the bloody videos, mate. I can sit back behind the couch and let them go, because their interpretation just blows me out. Like, even with the first one, like listening to Johnny Butler, listening to, you know, Missy Higgins, listening to Steve Kilby, Tex Perkins. Now we're listening to these new ones. Holy mackerel. Courtney, she blows me away, that girl. And she did a video sitting on her bed with her old cubby dog.
I know. And what a beautiful way to bring the words of the song out just by sitting there. So, you know, we're not distracted by a Hollywood production. She's just sitting there doing something simple, and then we can feel your words.
And the way she's done it, it becomes her song, Paul. That's the great part of it. It becomes her song. And, you know, young Alice Skies just sent one through a video. Because Sian, she's done so much filming up around Broome and, you know, all around Australia, and she's put together this video, and again, it just blows me away because there's not all the glitz and the glamour and the flaming dancing and the, you know, all the body gyrations that I wouldn't like to see my granddaughters doing. Just to, you know, interpret music. I just think it's fantastic the way that they've both done it, and you know, I don't know. I never played in a band. Well, I did play in tiny little bands for a while, but I've never actually, you know, done a band. It's just me going jang with a flaming old guitar on stage and telling people stories. And that's the point, Paul, that the songs are basically stories, a lot of them. And people love to hear. I spend 50% of my time on stage or more telling people about the story of the song and then playing the song. You know, because the people are really, I didn't know that until, you know, when I started off, but people were really interested in the stories of because you know, my lifetime, you know, I'm 70, I don't know what I am, 73 now or something. But me and my brother, and that, we've come from the horse and buggy era. Like we used to, yeah, we had a big old draft horse called Prince, a big old Clydesdale. Gee, it was a beautiful horse. In the sulky. That was our transport for years up until 1952. From 1950 to, from 1950 to 1952. And of course, we spent so much time on horses. I was on a horse when I was 4 years old. I mean, I could have virtually earned a living because I used to hold the cattle on the water holes while the men mustered in, you know, on the station. But you know, we've come to the point now where you and I are talking, you know, through cyberspace, and I can see you. You know, and we come from the bloody horse and buggy era, mate. Yeah, but
it's very important for somebody like me to hear your words in song. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I went to school in the 60s and 70s. I was not taught our history. I was taught an interpretation of history that an English schooling wanted to teach. And suddenly a Kev Carmody comes along and puts pieces together for somebody like me that should have been taught these things at school. It's part of our history. You're my teacher.
The thing is, Paul, it wasn't coming, like it's coming through in the oral sense. And again, as I said, in the mid 70s, when the community radio stations started to go, that's when the real history started to come out, in a sense. And gee, you are dead right. I had so much trouble when I first went to uni, because I was bloody illiterate, my friend. I'd never read a book when I went in. They let me in as a mature age student, and you know, I just had so much trouble because they kept putting red lines around my essay saying, you're changing tense all the time. Whereas, you know, our past, our future stretches as far ahead as our past does behind us. But that aside, I'd put in the statement that uncle said or the grandma said or that, you know, grandfather said or something, or dad said, and they'd say, well, where's your quote from? We had to constantly be coming out of academic books, and oral history couldn't be put in. So for a while I got away with it, Paul. I used to put number 5 quote, Granny Bolsa, unpublished manuscripts, 1954. And I got away with it for a long time until one bloody lecturer, he put a big red mark around it. Where does this quote actually come from? What book? What notation? Unpublished manuscripts, what does that mean? Oh, God. So I got caught. I got bloody caught. But it's just like the whole thing about the statues and, you know, all that. You know, I'm with Stan Grant. I reckon what we should do, leave the statues there as a bloody symbol of what happened, and then just put the plaque on it. Put the little plaque on it and say, well, okay, this is what. How can you discover it when the bloody, you know, Portuguese and the bloody, the Spanish and whatnot were here, and us fellas have been here for bloody 65 to 80,000 years anyway. I mean, if the archaeologists keep digging with the bloody shovel, mate, Christ, goodness knows what they'll come up with in the caves and whatnot. If bloody Rio Tinto stops bloody blowing them up, mate, we want, you know, we've got a bit of a chance. And like it's not anybody's, it's not your fault. It's together we can do stuff. Together. It's like Black Lives Matter. We need every bugger in the whole thing, and we've got to change the system that's producing this.
Sure, we're getting a lot of misinformation though coming out of traditional media,
yes.
And I wanted to quote for you something from radio presenter Tom Elliott on 3AW, who, in my belief, just spews bullshit onto the radio each day. He said, and I quote, "We don't really know what happened to the stolen generation. For example, there is some evidence to suggest that mixed race children were not wanted by Aboriginal tribes and given away." What do you say to somebody like that who is talking on the #1 radio program in Melbourne?
Tell him to listen to bloody Archie Roach's that phenomenal song, They Took the Children Away. Like, that's just down the road from where that fella's probably broadcasting, Framingham. Like, just down the road. Like, go and have a talk to the vast majority of the fellas, you know, if you look at Lake Tyers and all that, like, there was so many people taken away. Like, it's been a big hidden thing, and also the massacres that happened in this country. I mean, my old grandfather, he came from Cape York. He was born in the bush there in the middle of Lakefield National Park on Cape York, crocodile country. and he used to tell us about the times when they were actually, the station owners and that were pushing into that area were shooting them. There's a place up there called Battle Creek. Like the real history, when you're looking at that fella from 3AW, I mean, everybody's going on about Mr. Trump going on with fake news and all the rest of it. That's all them buggers are bloody broadcasting, Paul, and you know it. And, we just got to, oh God, I don't know how to do it. We just got to change that concept of them being in charge of the mainstream bloody radios.
Yeah.
Like that, the advertisers can stop that stuff. That's where it comes to. It's like bloody Rio Tinto blowing up the bloody sacred place in West Australia there. It's the shareholders, and it's the advertising bloody mob. They can stop it all right, because unless they do, they're supporting it, Paul.
That's why, Kev, the new record, Cannot Buy Your Soul, is so important, because, what you're doing here is taking those words that were so important back then to a new generation of artists, and they're communicating to a new generation of fans. In dealing with somebody like an Alice Skye, Electric Fields, Kate Miller-Heidke, Casey Chambers, Jimmy Barnes, Courtney Barnett, a lot of their fan base are a younger fan base. They would be hearing your music for the first time this way.
That's you put your finger on it right at the very start, Paul, when you said like 14 years ago, and then like if I was 14 then and 28, I can't believe, that it, the younger ones are actually relating to this. And like, it's fantastic, because those like Courtney Barnett and, Alice, it's just an Electric Fields, boy. They're, I'm just in so much admiration of them, because, a few of those, some of those songs, we never had the money back in the 1980s when I first recorded to have a band or anything. And one particular song, I remember just saying, well, we haven't got a band, I haven't got no bloody music for this, so I just stood in front of the microphone and did it like a poem called Comrade Jesus Christ. Now, back in those days, Paul, especially in Queensland, if you use the word comrade, because gee, that Gough Whitlam, mate, he was using the word comrade
and blasphemy.
Oh God, yes, and you were a criminal for sure if you used the word comrade. So I did this one called Comrade Jesus Christ, and boy, it upset a few people.
Well, it's fantastic. Like, here's the old version. This is the one from 14 years ago.
Oh, I remember when they told me that we don't use cassettes anymore. Oh, don't you? What do you use? Oh, it's digital now.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What does it look like?
Yeah.
Oh, because all along the bloody country roads, you used to see all the tapes that didn't work when they threw the bloody cassette out the window of the tape. And all along the highways, there was bloody cassette tape for miles. You could, pick it up, because when we were driving, you pick it up. Oh, here's one. Oh, this is Hank Williams' best ones. Best. Here's Patsy Cline. Oh shit, it's all busted. Yeah.
Well, when this one came out 14 years ago, it was only on CD. The new version will actually be on vinyl. So you're going to be using a technology from the last millennium on the new record.
You've got to buy it. You've got to buy it, Paul. You've got to have the bloody money. I haven't got one. You can see this in my lounge room. There's not even a bloody a record player or a CD player enough near.
Hey, look behind me here. Look, Kev. There's plenty of vinyl.
God, you're the man.
Yeah.
So when this coronavirus stops, Paul, I'm coming. Look at that. I'm coming down to have a look.
Coronavirus, when you're down in Melbourne next, you come over here and we'll put on some vinyl.
That's the last time I saw the bloody turntables, Paul, was when the rap fellas was using them like this. Not
too much rap going on in this house.
You're ruining a bloody good record, mate. Oh no, this is rap. That's the last time I saw the turntable.
Yeah. Last time I saw you was at the Melbourne Zoo a year or two ago with Peter Garrett.
True. So was I between the elephants or the rhinos?
Yeah, we saw everything there. You were singing the lions to sleep.
Oh, jeez, I remember that. Yeah, because Peter asked me to do some supports. By the way, they've got they've got a delivery a mini one coming out too next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first single came out last week, and it is powerful.
Is it? Is it?
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
Well, look,
Yep.
anything they bloody do is bloody powerful. It's just And again, with the coronavirus and everything, we've had to, both you and me, had to find a new bloody way of communicating and getting the word out again, haven't we?
And this has been a good way to talk to you, Kev. I've really enjoyed sitting around and just having an afternoon chat with the legendary Kev Carmody out of my lounge room.
I always said to him, when they said, "Oh, legend, oh, you're a legend, you're a legend," I said, "How the bloody hell do you spell that? L-E-G, a hyphen, E-N-D. You're a leg end."
A leg end.
Mate.
I called Ross Wilson a legend once, and he said, "I'm not a legend. Legends are dead."
Oh, geez. Oh, Rossi. Oh, yeah. Well, Daddy cool. Wow, geez, that was a good guitar riff, that one, by G. Yeah. No, but we can learn from the past. I always found it quite amazing that, back in the 1960s and that, we had these groups like Beatles. I can see the Beatles behind you there, and the Rolling Stones. And I thought, Jesus, those bloody songs sound familiar. They sound like bloody muddy waters. That song, and what that's bloody Willie Dixon. I am the
That's where they all came from.
That's where, but they actually admitted to it. Like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones said, we got it from these fellas from America. In America, they weren't bloody recognised in the wider community until the English started saying, "Oh, Jesus, these fellas are pretty good. You want to go over and listen to this fella called Blind Willie Mattel? He knows his way around the bloody guitar. That fella, he's a black fella too." Oh, Jesus, Audie Ledbetter. Oh, okay. Oh, shit, he's pretty good, isn't he? And it was amazing that it sort of had to come back from England and go over to the States again. And then all these folk blokes were playing songs, and the fellas that wrote the songs were working on bloody assembly lines in Chicago or bloody Detroit, and they were still alive. Oh, shit, well, we better get them on stage instead of us doing covers of them.
Thank you for the music, and thanks for joining us at Noise 11.
Yeah, well, and for goodness sake, we've got to catch up, and have a handshake when we're allowed to.
It's a deal.
See you, mate. See ya.
Thank you, Kev. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.